Alright, so this is now going to be part 4. We're going to talk a little bit about sound editing. So right now we've got this stuff up here, which will give us not really enough to work with. So let's get rid of this video clip we were just playing with in the last one. We don't need this stuff. We can just delete all of it for now. So let's go ahead and head back over to our project. And we'll find something that's a little bit more meaty. I think this. So this is one of the times that it's helpful to just double click on the icon, and it brings it up in the preview window. And now you can scrub through the footage. You can see. Okay, yeah, she's talking, so that's good. That'll give us some sound to work with. So let's bring that into the project there, into our timeline. And this is a little too much stuff for us to worry about right now, so I'm just going to trim out these pieces here that don't have a lot of sound. We don't need that. Logging things up. Let's just get rid of that. We're just going to work with this piece here, and we'll cut that in half. So we have two clips. All right. So you have. I'm just going to move these up, just so that we can sort of isolate the sound a little bit. So the upper track is your video track. This is your sound track below here. When I'm working on sound, I will sort of expand this window here. And so if you hover your mouse at the seam of these two windows, it'll change into this cursor. And so if you click and then drag, you can do that. And so since we don't really care about the picture at the moment, we're just worrying about the sound, this is going to give us more room to play with down here. So if you do the same thing where you're in between the controls here on the side for the video and audio, it'll do the same, and we can expand this some more to give us some more sound room. All right, that's good. And then what we want to do is we want to do the same thing with these tracks in between each track. So you just want to drag them so they're larger. So now you can see that it's expanded what we can see on the sound. So I'm going to hold Alt and zoom in to zoom in on what we're seeing here. And so these are the waveform displays of what you're seeing. So you can have a visual cue of, like, there's probably like a little pause there that you might want to make a cut on or something like that. But if we go in really far, now you can actually see where words form. And so sometimes you might have to take a piece of one clip and find where the words overlap and make a cut on the audio, especially if you're trying to piece together a bunch of stuff where you have something like an animation or some sort of graphic that you don't have to worry about the person who's talking actually getting through the entire thing in one go. Sometimes you'll have to find words, a spot where, okay, I can go from this word here to this other clip. And so zooming in really far and finding where that word really starts and really pinpointing what frame does the end end, and then the little pause happens that you're trying to catch to be able to splice that onto something else. So that's one of the spots that the zooming in and zooming out really helps. So that's Alt and scroll, or dragging the edge of that control there. So now let's actually do some sound editing. So let's say first things first, when we're scrolling through, this is called scrubbing. You can see on the sound meter over here, if it hits the top, it'll sort of stay red for a little bit. You do not want it to go to red. That means you're actually losing data because you've pushed the sound up too high. But you also don't want it down here, because then people are going to have to turn up their speakers, and if you have a louder part, then it's going to be a pain in the butt. So what you want is your sound to basically be hitting about this -6 on a consistent basis, so that everything, for the different clips. So you're going to need to balance some different clips, because some of them are going to have louder sound than the other. So if you select the clip that you want to change the volume for, Just select that, and then you're going to right click on it, and you'll see this audio gain. You can click on that, and now you can adjust the audio gain by positive or negative numbers. You can set it to a specific gain if you want. You can normalize these things, but don't really worry about those. The one that I think is most useful is the adjust gain. So plus like 5 decibels. You see this goes up, and then you see that the actual waveforms increased, their amplitudes increased. So to look at it in comparison to the other one, like if you see a clip where you have these waveforms really, really tall, and then another one where they're really, really short, you know you're going to have to bring one up or bring one down. It's usually better to try to bring one up than to try to bring one down. So let's go ahead and just do this. And so this, we already know, is going to be adding 5 decibels. So now they should match. So that's how you can do that. If you want to adjust some individual pieces, like let's say this piece here is just too loud. So what we're going to do is, with this clip selected, we're going to place our sort of our cursor on the frame that we want to start on, and now we're going to go up to the panel up here and choose Effect Controls, and you're going to scroll all the way down to Volume. So this button here is going to put in a keyframe. So you want to hit that. And what that does is that marks that frame to exactly where you want on that frame, and it puts a little dot right here that you can use as a control. So let's go ahead and move down to the end of the piece that we want to bring down, and we're going to put another one. Now, if we grab these and move them down, so you can just click on it, it turns blue. You can fade out the piece that you want. You can drag it over to make it more steep. So let's say we want to cut that piece out. Now we want this other piece here to come back in later, so we're just going to put another keyframe in, and then we're going to move over just a little bit, put another keyframe in, and then we're going to grab that last one and bring it up. And so now you can see that it drops the sound for that little spot. But yeah, so you can do that. These keyframes are basically, you put a keyframe in anytime you want to make a change. The computer will figure out how to make the change between, in any frames between. That's called interpolation. And you just have to set where you want the change to start.